My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Hit subscribe right now. I'm very, very, very honored and happy that WikiLeaks shared my latest Times of Israel piece. Julian Assange is a tzaddik. That's a Hebrew word for a person who does good deeds. There's a lot more than that into the word, but they retweeted the article, and I view Julian Assange to be a hero, as millions of others around the world do as well, and a journalist or a publisher. And I'm very, very honored that they retweeted the article. So, and it's on my profile page on Twitter, so you can see the article there. But very happy about that. Hit subscribe right now. General Michael Flynn's case, whatever you want to call it, is the foundation for Russia probe. Number one, I'm going to read you really quickly, which the Russia probe is a conspiracy theory. Russia never influenced the election. I don't care how many Facebook ads they had for 40 grand. I think it was like the 40 grand were $40,000 of Facebook ads were seen by a small number of Americans before the election. The remainder after the most or the remainder after the election. Even the Facebook vice president of advertising was on Twitter talking about the majority of ads were seen after the election. But this is just one of the most important aspects. Judge Emmett Sullivan is very likely could overturn this case and throw it out, which would be something that protects this country from yet another descent into a new McCarthy era. The Democratic Party already thrust this country into a new McCarthy era. From 2017, January 1st or January 20th, 2017 until today, people have believed a conspiracy theory sanctioned by the media, sanctioned by government. There's no evidence for the claims made. They went after General Flynn first. Judge Emmett Sullivan wants the updated information on the 302s regarding Peter Strzok and an agent named Pientka. Peter Strzok was fired. Peter Strzok interviewed Michael Flynn. Peter Strzok interviewed Hillary Clinton prior to that. Andrew McCabe told Michael Flynn not to bring legal counsel. Andrew McCabe, now there's new information. We don't know if he called Flynn or if Flynn called him because he was told to call the FBI. General Flynn is an honorable man. He didn't even know that he was under formal criminal investigation. There was nothing that he did wrong. They criminalized meeting with a Russian ambassador, which is not a criminal offense. There's no legal statute that says you can't meet with an ambassador. What they did was engage purely in process crimes to get people, meaning they had no evidence of real crimes. So what they did was they said, well, what can we do to get the ball rolling? Oh, we'll purchase the Steele dossier, Hillary Clinton. We'll outsource CrowdStrike. We'll essentially pay for evidence, which is Clinton bought and paid for evidence. Utilize that to create this investigation. Then, and you use GCHQ initial assessments that, oh my God, there are Trump ties with Russia. All the while not telling Trump, while John Brennan speaks to Harry Reid, gives him information on the Steele dossier, but not President Obama. Notice how President Obama is removed from all of this. But here's the Hill article from in May 2018. House Intel report McCabe. McCabe said agents who interviewed Flynn didn't think he was lying. So here you have it. McCabe said agents who interviewed Flynn didn't think he was lying. The House Intelligence Committee on Friday released a newly unredacted section of its final Russia report detailing testimony from former senior FBI officials about the probe into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his contacts with a top Russian diplomat. So this is why Michael Flynn's attorneys said, hey, this man does not deserve any jail time. He didn't do anything wrong. And when Trump should have stood by him, the fact that this is what happens. If you if you know something to be wrong and you back down, then you allow the bullies, the people with ulterior motives, horrible individuals to get away with things. Okay, that's why I don't back down on things, and I'll get to that a little later. The unredacted portion of the report written by Republicans on the panel details testimony from former FBI Director James Comey and his then Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. The report says McCabe in particular testified that the two agents who interviewed Flynn didn't think he was lying. Comey said the same thing. Despite the agent's initial impressions, McCabe reportedly testified that officials found that Flynn's statements to investigators were inconsistent with their understanding of the conversation that he had actually had with the ambassador. But there was no attempt to deceive. There was no lying to the FBI. You can not recall something. That doesn't mean you're lying. Okay, Hillary Clinton straight up lied. She stated she didn't know what the C meant, classified or confidential. She thought it meant catnip, or she thought it had something to do with. She thought it had something to do with with the letter being an alphabetical part of alphabetical, arranging her emails in alphabetical order, or a paragraph in terms of alphabetical order. She lied, and Lord knows what kind of questions were asked. It wasn't, oh, by the way, how did you set up your server? Because if you don't answer correctly, if you don't say what Brian Pagliano gave us, and then this whole entire thing is a setup covering up Clinton's crimes while at the same time fabricating Trump-Russia, a conspiracy theory. That is a conspiracy theory on the left. It is sanctioned by the media. It is sanctioned by the intelligence community, even Trump's intelligence community to a certain extent. We have no clue how many votes were altered because of Facebook ads. We have no clue how Hillary Clinton was able to win the popular vote but lose swing states because of certain Facebook ads. We have no idea if Russia actually hacked the DNC because we've never been given access to DNC servers, and CrowdStrike is the only assessment they gave. CrowdStrike is the company that was outsourced to look at DNC servers, and they gave a copy and an image, copies and images of DNC servers to the United States government. Well, why on earth should we trust those copies? The company was outsourced by Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton's money, funneled through a law firm, which is an overt campaign finance violation. That's why I say Trump needs to act. But the thing was a setup, so they didn't think he lied. The whole point is they got him on lying to the FBI, and they got him on a technicality that isn't even a lie. Just because you don't remember a statement that has nothing to do with an action that isn't... So he didn't even commit a crime. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to remember. Whereas there's this, grandiose belief that, I don't want to get into it right this second, but the left doesn't need Reddit. The left just utilize, they don't need message boards to, battle Trump. Oh, they straight up, what they do is they fabricated evidence. They pay for evidence through CrowdStrike and the Steele dossier. And Flynn didn't even commit a crime. The FBI cleared Flynn of any wrongdoing in terms of collusion or criminal activity before January 20th, 2017. He was already National Security Advisor, and they set him up. We don't know if McCabe called him or he called McCabe. We do know that McCabe told him, don't bring legal counsel. We do know that Flynn had no clue he was under the federal criminal investigation still. And the criminal investigation wasn't over a crime. It was an overreaching investigation into Russia based on not even American intelligence, based on a dossier and a conversation between Papadopoulos and Alexander Downer, who has his own ties, Australian ambassador, who has his own ties to the Clinton Foundation. Everywhere you look, There's ties to the Clinton Foundation. The Judge Emmett Sullivan wants more information. So this week is the sentencing, official sentencing. He could throw this case out, which would be the biggest, most monumental. I'm not saying he absolutely will. I'm saying he could. He's also overseeing Judicial Watch lawsuits regarding Freedom of Information Act lawsuits for Clinton's server, regarding Clinton's server. So he knows the duplicity. He knows this judge could save this country. He could save this country from a further descent into like madness and just destroying people's lives because, Trump is hated. This type of thing, where is Brian Pagliano? Nobody is touching the guy. Nobody is legally. Nobody's questioning him. He still has to show up. He still has a subpoena to testify on how he created the server. 4 years of his emails at State Department are missing. That's why I say Trump needs to act. There is no plan, ladies and gentlemen. You make your own plan in life. In life, you have to make your own plan. And anyone telling you, oh, everything's going to be just okay and fine, and trust whatever, this person says or that message board says, there is no plan in life. There are no tarot reading, fortune-telling intel officers protecting you or me or anyone else, ladies and gentlemen. Trump needs to act, and he will. I think 2019 is going to be a breakthrough year. But it'll be a breakthrough year because criminal behavior, the mountain of evidence, everything that I've been talking about, John Solomon, Paul Sperry, Kimberly Strassel, Sarah Carter, Tom Fitton, who is like the head of all, like the tip of the spear regarding all of this, Judicial Watch. We've all been, me to a lesser extent, but they've been speaking about this for years and years and years. I've been speaking about this since 2015 and 2016. When it all goes down, it'll be because of the amount of criminal behavior that has been committed by Clinton and people around her in the Democratic Party. It won't be because, a message board and intel officers are working to help you. That ain't happening. So, House Intel report, McCabe said agents who interviewed Flynn didn't think he was lying. Although Deputy Director McCabe acknowledged the two people who interviewed Flynn didn't think he was lying, which was not a great beginning of a false statement case, General Flynn pleaded guilty to one count of making false statements. He pleaded guilty because they went after his family, they went after his son. He's a good father, okay? And Sally Yates, we know from Paul Sperry and others, she was the Deputy Attorney General. She was a holdover from President Obama. She helped frame General Flynn. These people are insidious. The committee received conflicting testimony from Comey, McCabe, then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, and Principal Attorney Marty McCord about the primary purpose of the interview. They had no reason to interview Flynn. The report claims that these top FBI and Justice Department officials had different answers regarding whether the agents were investigating misleading statements to the vice president. Who cares? Who cares if there was... So what? So anyone could lie to Mike Pence within Trump's administration. So what? How do we know how many people lied to Biden within Obama's administration? I don't know. I don't care. Investigating misleading statements to the vice president, which the vice president echoed publicly about the contents of his call, a possible violation of the Logan Act, or a desire to obtain more information as part of the counterintelligence investigation of General Flynn. So Pence's role in this is bizarre, but the report notes that Comey testified the agents discerned no physical indications of deception. They didn't see any change in posture, in tone, in inflection, and eye contact. They saw nothing that indicated to them that he knew he was lying to them. Look, McCabe also then confirmed to the Intelligence Committee, this is the Hill, by the way, according to the report, but added that they'd found Flynn's statements were inconsistent with what they had understood to be his conversation with Kislyak. The conversation had nothing to do with Trump-Russia collusion, so they even got him on a conversation that wasn't even illegal or unethical to begin with. They got him on the equivalent of, what did you have last Monday for lunch? I want you to tell me in the comments section. Last week, at this time, what did you have for lunch last Monday? Right now. Right now. Well, if you didn't have, oh really? Was it rosemary potatoes or a different type of potato? Sorry. Sorry, you didn't get that right. You're going to jail. Oh, no, that's no problem. You didn't do anything wrong, but it technically wasn't rosemary potatoes, so I'm sorry. You're going to jail. Oh, yeah, this is an overarching part of the investigation into Trump-Russia collusion. Look. Trump needs to act. He needs to act. He needs to act. He needs to act quickly. Flynn said his phone call with Kislyak in late December 2016 that he had requested that Russia not escalate the situation and only respond to U.S. sanctions in a reciprocal manner. The guy was working on behalf of the United States of America to ensure that a Cold War adversary didn't harm this nation. There was nothing he did wrong. Then here the federal judge, this is the federal judge overseeing Michael Flynn's sentencing just dropped the sentencing memo reveals the first concrete evidence the FBI created multiple summaries of Michael Flynn's questioning, which may indicate they're hiding the truth. They created multiple 302s, new 302s. How do you create new 302s? So that's another issue. This is from Margot Cleveland. That's another issue. Shortly after Flynn's meeting with FBI agents, two senior officials from the Department of Justice met with House Counsel Don McGahn to discuss the discrepancies in the transcripts. Don McGahn, see, the lawyers for Trump were establishment people. They were establishment people, and Trump, he has not had a moment of peace. He has not had a moment where the media didn't engage in a 2-year-long temper tantrum of biblical proportions. Now, they managed to get the House from it, which I didn't think people were that stupid, so I was wrong on that. But I was right about the Senate, and of course I was right about Hillary Clinton losing in 2016 to Trump, when nobody said that. And only a few voices within a sea of just a media machine. So I spoke out against that media machine and in viral articles in the Hill, the Huffington Post Salon, and I was on MSNBC and CNN. People didn't listen. I was right. When they lost, they switched. They reversed course. New narrative. Trump worked with Russia. The first domino to fall against Trump. Had he stuck by General Michael Flynn, he would have found all of this out. Had he stuck by General Michael Flynn, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very important. And this is hopefully pertaining to why Judge Sullivan might just throw out this case. Because you had Peter Strzok to begin with. So not only do you have new 302s, which are summaries. So, I mean, why are they creating new summaries? Not only do you have missing text messages, factory reset of a phone. Okay? A factory reset of a phone. Where they're like, oh, there's no evidence it was deliberate. They hide behind the governmental process. And they would if it was Trump engaging in all of this, they would use their thinking caps and scrutinize and be suspicious. But what the media does, and here's the spin, and I'll get to it if it's 16, 17 minutes in, the QAnon conspiracy theory is predicated upon the belief that MSM is pure evil. Yeah, I get it. But MSM, the reporting, is okay. The spin and propaganda is insidious. That's the difference. You are not, by the way, if you believe in QAnon, you are not countering the spin. You are helping the spin because people who spew the nonsense say, well, disinformation is important. Well, who gets to decide the disinformation pumped into the minds of people? There are people who think JFK is alive, Jr. There are people who think that Julian Assange is in America. There are people who think that military intelligence officials are going through 8chan. And then you get, well, you know what? I'm not sure if I believe that, but it's great research. You're not doing research. You're listening to, whether it's Sather or anyone else, Medic or anyone else. You're listening to them talk about riddles and then search real time or whatever on YouTube. Or, it's not research you're doing. It's a wild goose chase / whole bunch of riddles where there's supposed to be this altruistic, divine, all-knowing source. And here's a newsflash. This is the importance of all of this. Intelligence officials don't predict the future. They're not hired to predict the future. They're hired to say, yes, sir, that's it. Intelligence officials, intelligence in the United States of America, intelligence is utilized to bolster policy objectives that were created a long time ago. They're not utilized to create policy. They're utilized to justify policy. Intelligence is not utilized. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. This is something you'll never get from the QAnon conspiracy nonsense people. You know when they say, oh, intelligence officers, and they know, and they're rogue. When you hear the word intelligence officer or intelligence in the United States, okay, there's nothing glamorous. There's nothing, alluring to it. We saw with Iraq, Gulf of Tonkin, the intelligence derived is not, almost always, not information used to protect from future occurrences. CIA, NSA, FBI, all of them couldn't even pick, a Michigan State football game. Intelligence is utilized to justify existing policy or policies that a president or a government wants to implement. That's why when people are like, "Who's paying you to debunk QAnon?" No, see, I'm a Trump supporter. Okay, you think that there's money in going from Bernie Sanders to Trump? I grew my channel from hard work. I didn't pander to anyone. People didn't even like me when I was on the left. A lot of people, I should say. A lot of people did like me. But a great many couldn't stand me. There's people who don't like, to the credit of conservatives, going against certain dangerous narratives, even people are less maniacal than they are on the left. But still, some people, I'm annoying people on conservative side now because I'm trying to debunk the QAnon thing, which hurts Michael Flynn. Oh, but, he said this, no, he didn't. None of these people, if someone writes, where we go one, we go all, that doesn't mean that that intelligence officials within the U.S. are speaking through 8chan to help Trump destroy the deep state. That doesn't mean that. There's a logical leap. But what I'm trying to tell you is, when you work for the government officials that are disseminating or utilizing intelligence to help people, to help presidents or Congress or whatever, or foreign policy makers, they're not doing anything like so special. Hillary Clinton made an absolute mockery of the intelligence community. She used a server outside the United States government. Okay, you have, and I explained this in one of my live streams, John Anthony Walker. You want to know how smart the intelligence agency community is? Okay, John Anthony Walker was able to, he was a Cold War traitor, and he got family members to testify to work with him also. He was running a spy ring for 18 years in the United States Navy, and he didn't know, and he had access to highly classified, top secret intelligence. Okay? Selling top secret documents for almost 2 decades. Okay, tell me again how you should worship the intelligence officials. 18 years, John Anthony Walker? Then you had close to 10 years, Aldrich Ames. in the CIA. Then you had Robert Hansen for like 20 years on and off. He gave, between those three, they gave more classified data and secrets than all the traitors combined in U.S. history. Then you had Hillary Clinton, who utilized a private server outside of the United States government, which, okay, I mean, what do you need to know about that? It was hacked by China. We know that from Louis Gohmert and Inspector General Charles McAuliffe. Now you have Judge Emmett Sullivan, who is an honorable judge, who is always asking, hey, he's always asking the government, well, what's going on here? This is ridiculous. He even said you didn't want Flynn. The only reason you wanted Flynn was to get to Trump. Look, there is a chance that Judge Emmett Sullivan could throw this out. He's asking for records before sentencing. He's doing that because he knows there's something fishy here. He knows what they're trying to do. Okay? He knows that they're trying to railroad. They tried to hurt this 33-year... And here's another issue, too. General Michael Flynn was a patriot. Is a patriot. He literally was talking to Sergei Kislyak about ensuring that Russia didn't retaliate and hurt this country. The state, the United States government was utilized against a patriot and utilized against patriots all the time. Whistleblowers are, treated in the worst manner. But the notion, and this is why I don't like, well, what's the harm in it? Complacency, believing in something that's blatantly not true. Just what happened in life to there's no evidence for a claim, therefore the claim is not accurate. What happened to that? And then somebody said, well, you have no evidence to make your claim. Again, basic logic. My claim is predicated upon the lack of evidence of someone making a categorical claim. If somebody states, there are intelligence officers, many, numerous, who are patriots within intelligence. Oh, by the way, is it the Defense Intelligence Agency? Is it the NSA? Where are these people? Nobody knows. But predicated upon the belief that since there's no evidence for this claim, it doesn't exist. I don't have to disprove a claim that there's no evidence without any evidence backing it. The burden of proof is not for the skeptic. The burden of proof is for the person making the definitive statement. You stole my car. I don't need proof. I don't need evidence. I'm just going to accuse you of stealing my car. Oh, it doesn't work. Not good anymore. The IRS is going to come after you. Why? Because, you engaged in a racketeering scandal. You watching this right now. No evidence? What? Prove you didn't. Prove you didn't. If the government said prove that you didn't do something, is that logic? No. If someone says prove that this didn't happen, it's the same thing. When you're making a statement, you have to prove the statement. When you're making an allegation, you have to prove the allegation. Same with the United States government and General Michael Flynn. There's a possibility that the court case gets thrown out. There's also the possibility he gets no jail time. I mean, I don't think that he's going to get any jail time at all. That I can predict because he didn't do anything wrong. But the whole case eventually could be thrown out by the DOJ, even after Judge Emmett Sullivan rules on it. Let's say he doesn't throw out the case, but Michael Flynn, who's an honorable man, doesn't get zero jail time at all. They forced him to plead guilty to something that wasn't even a crime. When McCabe and Comey had testified, he didn't even lie, and the agents testified that, yeah, we don't think he lied. And it was just an inconsistency between a recollection, he just something he didn't recall. It's not. It wasn't a lie. It wasn't he didn't intentionally say anything that contradicted something that was part of an overall criminal investigation regarding what he did. He didn't do anything that was criminal. So these FBI agents just needed to find a way to take him down, and they did. And Trump, unfortunately, bought into it. And Sally Yates, the Deputy Attorney General, Trump has been blessed with amazing Deputy Attorney Generals, Sally Yates and Rosenstein, and an AG in Sessions. And Q says, trust Sessions. Well, that didn't work out. Isn't it interesting how when people say, trust the plan, then they say disinformation is necessary when they get called on all the crazy things like trust Sessions? Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. This could be a landmark week. Let's see. If he the fact Flynn not getting any prison sentence, and he deserves to be reimbursed by the United States government. But the fact that he wouldn't get any jail time at all proves that this was all set up from the very beginning. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe right now.